Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking Monday, January 13th. The Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. We are taking one juicy ladder play as well for just a quarter unit on that bad boy, but pretty confident in the 5 plays that we have. It's been a pretty nice run on the NBA so far over the last week or so. That continued yesterday. I admittedly had a big day, 7 plays. We did get 4 of those 7 to cash, so we won 4, we lost 3. But more importantly, we are up just under 2 units. We're up 1.9 units on the day, which is why we play these plus money bangers. You can win 4 bets and you can lose 3, and you can still profit almost 2 units because we had plays that won that were plus 160, plus 120, stuff like that. So it was a pretty nice day yesterday. And honestly, the bets that lost were pretty frustrating. Damian Lillard, we had him 25 plus points. He had 15 in the first half, 22 heading into the fourth quarter. Didn't play in the fourth quarter because they got blown out or played limited minutes. We had Nikola Vucevic, 20 plus points. I think he scored 13 in the first half. He had 18 heading into the fourth quarter. Did not take a single shot attempt in the fourth quarter. And then LaMelo Ball scored 25 plus points, scored 25 points. Nothing really to complain about there, but could have been an amazing day. Was still a good day. That now brings our profit on the entire season up over 10 units. I am incredibly happy to be up over 10 units on the year when you consider how things went. There was a stretch where we were down 12 units, got ourselves back in the green. Then we went back down to like 8 units of loss. It's just been very hit or miss season so far. But I'm very happy that we're now on a prolonged green streak up over 10 units on the year. Let's hope that continues tonight. If you're new to my channel, would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. And then for this video, if you could like, and then the comment that I want you guys to put in the comments is your favorite road trip snack. I have moved to Denver and back twice, road tripped out with dogs both of those times. I'm very well versed in road trips. Mine is a very specific, it's Brookside chocolate covered blueberries. Technically they're fake blueberries, but it's an amazing road trip snack. It's hearty, so you know, if you're skipping a meal, you could just munch on those bad boys. They taste amazing. Brookside chocolate covered fake blueberries is what I call them. My favorite road trip snack. Put yours in the comments. And let's start talking about some bangers. So I'm just going to go in order of the games in which they're played, 7 down to the late game. Again, I'm going to have 5 bets for you guys to lock in. The first one that I ended up locking in here is Rudy Gobert, and I took him on the double-double. So I took him, obviously, this over 11.5. You bump back down to 9.5. He's hit that. Honestly, still not that great in less than 50% of his games. He scored 10 points. And then the boards is also 11.5. You bump that down to 9.5. He's hit a little bit better 60% of the time. This is a fade of recent results. Now, unfortunately, I can't look like Props Madness, which is an amazing website, doesn't have double-double on the screen here yet. Rudy Gobert, and I should tell you the odds, are plus 100 odds. You can get that basically anywhere. Plus 100 at FanDuel, at BetMGM, at Bet365. That's the price on the Rudy Gobert double-double. So this one is a fade of recent results. As you can see, he hasn't really been rebounding that much recently. He hasn't really been scoring that much recently, even if we go down to the over 9.5 number. This is all a play. We're fading recent results, and it's a play on the matchup. The Wizards are just an abomination. They're an abomination in a lot of places. They're specifically an abomination guarding centers, both from a scoring and a rebounding perspective. To stick on the points for a second, just look at the play types. Like, sure, they don't give up a ton on offensive rebounds, and unfortunately, we don't have any data off of cuts, so I can't tell you whether they're good or bad at cuts. Knowing what we know about the Wizards defense, I'm guessing they're pretty bad guarding cuts. I just can't tell you that. But then after that, we see free throws. Second most points off of free throws. Pick and roll roll man. Second most points to the pick and roll roll man. Via transition, third most points. Post up, 5th most points. They're just an abomination of a defense. And 10 of the last 15 centers have hit their point prop over against the Wizards, but some of them missed it while still scoring double digits. Like Hartenstein, his over-under was 11.5, which is what Rudy Gobert's over-under is. Only scored 10 points. That's still double digits. Vooch is a little bit different because his over-under was so high. But he still at least did score 12 points. And then Brook Lopez scored 14 points. His over-under was 14.5. One area that the Wizards really, really struggle, I mean, there's a lot of areas, it's points in the paint. If you look at what we're looking at here is a matchup against the Wizards. If you just go down in terms of the columns you see here, it's defensive rank versus DPT. You go down to PITP allowed, points in the paint allowed. The 4th most points in the paint allowed in the entire NBA. That's where Rudy Gobert scores 100% of his points are in the paint. 95% in the restricted area, 5% in the non-paint area of the restricted area. And to go back to the similar players' points versus Wizards, they hit their over by an average of 4. 11 of 15 have hit their over by an average of 4 points above what their average is. And we just need Rudy Gobert to go under his average to score 10 points. The Wizards, if we head over here to a website called #NBA, which just looks at NBA defense versus guarding positions, filter this for the last 30 days because stuff that happens in October isn't always helpful. Wizards have allowed the 4th most points per game to centers in the entire NBA. And let's just go right over to rebounds. They have allowed the 6th most rebounds per game to centers over the last 30 days, which honestly doesn't make them look as good of a matchup as they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th most rebounds per game to centers. But centers, similar to Rudy Gobert, also pretty much crushed their prop. 8 of the last 15, which honestly isn't amazing, have gone over. It's 8 of the last 15 similar to Rudy Gobert. 10 of the last 15 centers in general. But of the ones that went under, we see Şengün. Over-under was 10.5. He had 10 rebounds. So that's technically an under, but did get to double-digit rebounds. Same thing with Isaiah Hartenstein. Over-under was 11.5. He ended with 11. That's at least double-digit rebounds. Same thing with Jared Allen. So it's actually 13 of 15 have hit double-digit rebounds. And Rudy Gobert, and we just need him, his over-under is 11.5. We just need him to get to 10. Now, I get going back to last year isn't always perfect, but he did score got 16 rebounds in both games against the Wizards with 27 and 25 rebound chances, and he hit the points as well. Now, I get it's a different team, but that Wizards team also stunk. This Wizards team stinks. So Rudy Gobert to record a double-double, even money, sounds good to me. That is our first bet. Next up, I don't have a bet in this Pistons-Knicks game, but I do have one in the Raptors versus Warriors. And I'm taking Gradey Dick. I'm taking him 15 plus points. So if you wanted to take his over-under, his main line over-under, I should say, you could get that over 12.5 at -105 odds at BetMGM, ESPN Bet, -109 odds at Caesars. You just go down the line. You can see what the best offered price on all these books. I am pumping this up to 15 plus points, which you can get at +160 odds at both FanDuel and Bet365. Now, he is averaging over 15 points per game, 16.5. He's hit this number in 55% of his games, which sounds good off the bat, but I understand that this isn't perfect. And if you just look at games with the 3 of Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett together, all 3 of them, he actually hasn't done it in any of them. He scored double-digit points in 3 of the 4, but has not gotten to 15. Now, his shot attempts aren't terrible, which is one reason why that I'm on this play. He took 12 in this game, just shot poorly. Only took 6 in this game. This is not good. This is not what we would want. Only played 20 minutes. Shot 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from deep. Just a bad game. 5 of 9 in this one isn't terrible. 1 of 3 from deep. But then 11 in this one. Played 30 minutes. That one is a little bit more what we're hoping for. The reason why we are on this play is because of the matchup against the Warriors. The Warriors allow the 2nd most points per game to spot up shooters in the entire NBA. And a lot of that comes off of catching and shooting. So I'm heading over to NBA.com and I'm just filtering for opponent shooting, catch and shoot. The Warriors allow the 4th highest frequency of shots be catch and shoot 3-pointers. And if we just look at frequency in general, the 6th most in general, the 3rd most are catch and shoot shots in general, 4th most in terms of 3-pointers. We look at players catch and shoot. Gradey Dick scores the most points off of the catch and shoot on the Raptors, averaging over 6 points per game from the catch and shoot. Takes the most catch and shoot 3-point attempts, the most catch and shoot attempts in general. So, catch and shoot, check for Gradey Dick. Spot up, obviously those two are correlated. Spot up shooters generally catch and shoot a lot. And if you look at games where Gradey Dick has played, teams that are in the bottom 10 guarding spot up shooters, he scored 15 points in 8 of 9 games, averaging about 18 points per game. Now, the downside here is not a single game did he play, let me rephrase this. In all 9 of these games, one of the top 3 missed. One of RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, or Emmanuel Quickley missed. So again, he's never played a game with all 3, also against a team that could not guard spot-up shooters. In the first game, no Emmanuel Quickley. This one, no Scotty Barnes or Emmanuel Quickley. No Scotty Barnes or Emmanuel Quickley. This one, he went under when both those guys missed. But then a lot of them were missing Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley. And then in this one, Quickley missed. This one, Scotty Barnes and Quickley missed. This one was just Barrett and Quickley. This one, most recent one, was just Barrett. So a lot of times, one of the three or two of the three are missing. So I get that this isn't perfect. I'm just looking at the matchup. Gradey Dick also scores the most points off of spot ups on the Raptors. So you go back to NBA.com, you go to player, you go to play type, you go to spot up, and you look specifically for the Toronto Raptors, and you see that Gradey Dick scores the most points via spot up on the Toronto Raptors. So the most points via spot up, the most catch and shoot points. He's dominated these matchups against teams that are bad at guarding the spot up shooters. You know, one thing that you look at, if you look at look at the games where he's played with all three, none of them were a bottom 10 matchup in terms of opponent rank versus defensive play type. The only one that was below average was the Cavaliers, who still ranked 17th. And the Cavs are a good defense, right? Like, you don't want to necessarily target players against the Cavs. So I'm comfortable riding with Dick, even though it's scary with all three of those guys in the lineup, including him. It's a play on the matchup. And I think we're getting a good price because these three guys are in the lineup. So that is play number 2. That's play number 2. Play number 3, we're heading over to this Rockets versus Grizzlies game. And I'm taking Ja Morant, and I'm also pumping him up to 25 plus points. Now, if you wanted to take his main line, you could take over 21.5 at -110 at DraftKings, or you could go over 22.5 at -105 at Bet365. Those of you that know me know I love to pump this up. We're getting this at +160 odds at Fanatics on him to score 25 plus points. Another play that the hit rate guys are going to hate. He's only done it in 8 of 22 games. He's only averaged 21 points per game as well. It's been an off year for Ja Morant. Like, you know, he's really good to start the year, mostly from an assist perspective. But then he missed 3 weeks when he got hurt. Came back in and out of the lineup, missed another 10 days or so. But he's played 2 games since coming back from injury. And what I like is a nice fade of recent results in terms of how he has shot. His first game back, when we're going to talk about this in more detail, was against the Rockets. But he only shot 9 of 22, 1 of 5 from deep. Next game against the Timberwolves, only scored 12 points, shot 5 of 19, 0 of 4 from deep. So that's 1 of 9 from three-point range in the last 2 games since he returned from injury, and just shot horribly from the field in general. But I love the fact that he hit this against the Rockets. The last time these two teams played, he scored 27 points, and that was while shooting horribly. Now, he got to the line 11 times, but Ja Morant's great at drawing fouls and getting to the line. So there's nothing really to be scared of when I see him taking a lot of free throws. And the field goal attempts, 22 and 19, is perfect. And again, I love the fact that he literally just hit this number against this team while shooting horribly, and they lost that game. So he's going to come out. I mean, Ja Morant always plays hard, so I'm not necessarily saying his effort is going to be more tonight than it would normally be. But 22 and 19 field goal attempts is awesome. If we look at games in which he's just taken 19 field goal attempts, which is what he's been doing, we'll just even go to 18. He scored 25 or more points in 6 of 9 games in which he's taken 18 shot attempts. So I like Ja Morant. Honestly, he just did it last time. Guards have had success against the Rockets recently. Morant hit his prop, Bub Carrington, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. So all 3 Celtics did in the same game. And then Carrington and Ja Morant did. In terms of the play types, you know, the Rockets do have a good transition defense, which is where Ja loves to score, just running and transition. But they foul at a decent rate. I mean, average, I should say they foul at an average rate. But they allow a lot of points to pick and roll ball handlers, the 5th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. So when Ja's not running in transition, he's running pick and roll or he's ISOing, and they allow the 3rd most points per game via ISO. So these high usage guards have a lot of success against the Rockets. He just did it last game against them. And again, that's while shooting 40% from the field and 20% from deep, only because he got to the line 11 times and made 8 of them. So I just think there's a lot of avenues in which Ja, I could even see him scoring 30 points if he shot a little bit better. But we're just going to stick with the 25 plus, considering we're getting the +160 odds. That's play number 3. Next up, we're going to the Spurs versus Lakers game. And this is where we have a ladder play. So I should have mentioned this at the beginning. We're taking LeBron James. We're taking him over 16.5 rebounds plus assists. It's actually, you can get a better price than what I got. I got this at -102 at FanDuel. You can now get it at +105 at DraftKings. So the market did admittedly move against me a little bit on this one. But this is the play here. LeBron James over 16.5 rebounds plus assists. Again, now it's plus 105 odds at DraftKings. I got minus 102. This is another play on the matchup. We look at the 2 times he's played the Spurs this year. He's annihilated this over with 28 and 21 combined rebounds plus assists. And he's actually had a triple-double in both of these games as well, which is what our ladder play is. I'm putting a quarter unit on LeBron James to record a triple-double plus 650 odds at FanDuel. So full unit on the RA, quarter unit on the triple-double. Because the reason why I like it, it's a really good matchup, and there's nothing scary about his advanced stats. 23 potential assists in the first game, 18 rebound chances. Now, someone needing to get 10 rebounds and 10 assists, also off of 18 rebound chances and 23 potential assists, that's good. The next game, 18 rebound chances, so he had 18 in both. 15 potential assists. It's a little bit scarier for someone needing to get to 10 assists. 10 assists on 15 potentials is a little bit of a higher conversion rate than what we would like. But for someone only needing to get 16 or 17 combined, 15 potential assists, him to get 8 or 9 of those, that is much more reasonable. To hit the mainline prop is very good. It's a great matchup against the Spurs. Again, he's hit it in both times against them. Only 4 of 8 have hit their assist prop over, but some of the guys aren't really comparable. Like Giannis had 8 against them, more comparable to LeBron. Middleton missed it, Randall missed it in both games, hooked it in both games, but then LeBron hit it twice, and then Draymond Green. But what I like is if you go back to the defense versus position, LeBron's position is kind of nebulous. Sometimes he plays point guard, sometimes he plays point forward. He doesn't always run the offense, but the Spurs have been giving up a lot of assists to point guards recently. They've given up like the 10th, 9th most to point guards. Now, even if LeBron's not a point guard and he's more of a forward, 6 of the last 10 have hit, and that's while 3 in a row have missed. So the assists is a good matchup. The rebounds is a good matchup as well. Again, 16 and 10, both games against the Spurs. But 5 of 5 players with his rebounding profile have gone over. Now, that was LeBron twice, and Denny Advia twice, and then Kuzma the other time. You look at by position, this is just looking at forwards. 12 of the last 15 have hit their rebound prop over against the Spurs. So of the 2, I think it's a better matchup for the rebounds of the rebounds plus assists. The reason why I liked including the assists, I just like this as a nice fade of recent results. Like you look at his last, last 15 games. We just look at the last 15. His over-under on his assist prop is 8.5. Now it's pretty juiced at minus 115, minus 120, minus 130. Look how many times he's landed on exactly 8 assists. It's 3 of his last 4 games. And look at his potential assists in these games. 23, 13, so not that good. And then 21. And then this game, 18 potential assists is good. And 13 is not so good. But 5 times in the last 15 games, he's landed on exactly 8 assists. And in a lot of those games, 3 of the 5, he had a lot of potential assists, a number that we would like. So even though he's only hit it in 5 of his last 15 games, that doesn't really scare me off when you look at the advanced stats and when you look at the matchup against the Spurs. It's a good one. So that's my 4th play. And then the last one that we have here is I'm taking Zubac. I'm taking his over on the rebounds. This is another one that the hit rate people are not going to like, but it's another one that is a play on the matchup. The Heat have been getting smoked by center rebound props this entire season. As we can see, 8 of 12 with a rebounding profile similar to Ivica Zubac have hit their rebound prop over, and the last 3. And just look at these numbers. 15 for Walker Kessler. In the same matchup, 16 for Walker Kessler, 18 for Şengün. Now, Capella missed it, but Capella's rebounds have been terrible this year. Hartenstein had 18 against them. Now, Pirtle and Allen missed it 2 games in a row, but then Pirtle did cash it, and then he just would have hooked this one. Gafford, Gobert, Richards hit it in the first 3. You just go by position. This is just looking at the last centers. So by Props Madness, looks at players similar to the player that we're taking, similar to their profile. By position, just looks at that position they play. So the center position, 10 of the last 15 have hit their over. And again, some insane rebound performances. 14 to Goga, 16 to Jalen Duren, 13 to Goga. It's a really, really good matchup. We go back to #NBA. We look at centers, and we see that the Heat have actually allowed the 2nd most rebounds per game to centers over the last 30 days, which makes complete sense. And, Zubac, he's only hit it in 6 of his last 10 games. And some of these games are pretty gross in terms of his games, but he played 23 minutes in a game where they got blown out by the Thunder. Played 22 minutes in a game that they got blown out by 36 to the Spurs. If we just look at games where he's played 25 minutes, which is conservative because he's more often not going to play 30. It's 7 of 10 games, averaging over 14 in that stretch. In the games he went under, 12 rebounds, 11 rebounds. And what I like are his rebound chances. He's got 20 plus rebound chances like 5 times in his last 10 games. So he missed it against the Nuggets, but then 30 rebound chances, 25 rebound chances, 20 rebound chances, 20, 33, 34, 23, and then a low 17 and a low 16. So his rebound chances are there. The matchup is there. I thought about laddering Zubac up to 15 plus rebounds because more often than not, that's what players are doing against the Heat. I still might do that, but I haven't done that yet. But that rounds out our fifth and final pick of the video. That's all we got. 5 plays for you guys to lock in. And just to go in order, we're going Zubac over 12.5 rebounds, -105 odds at DraftKings. We're going LeBron James over 16.5 rebounds plus assists, -102 odds at FanDuel. Also putting a quarter unit on him to record a triple-double at +650 odds at FanDuel. Rudy Gobert double-double +100 FanDuel. Morant 25 plus points +160 Fanatics. Gradey Dick 15 plus points +160 at FanDuel. That's all we got. 5 plays for you guys to lock in. Again, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. Like the video, comment, let me know your favorite road trip snack. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.